Hello guys, what's going on? And today I'm having a few friends over, so I thought I'd unbox this and maybe actually play it for my Magic the Gathering evening. Yeah, so heard lots of stuff, good stuff about this precon, and we're gonna unbox it now and see what it actually contains and if I feel that it's potentially a good precon to play tonight. Yeah, so as usual, we got the zipper kind of opening here. It's not really successful all the time, but as you can see, I have to struggle opening it, but I do get it eventually here. So there we go. And collects an Edge of Eternities collector booster sample there. That's good. And does collect some, some cool cardboard tokens, which is cool. Yeah. So it's Edge of Eternities, guys. Magic the Gathering. This was released last year, and yeah, it's got the manual, or not the manual, but it's got the sort of playing the deck kind of thing, and it also got the the box, which folds like this, and then it becomes a box, and you can use it as a box for your cards if you want. But I'm not going to be using that, of course. I have, of course, bought the flip and tray, and it's purple since this deck is, well, mainly purple, I found out. And to change it out a bit, I bought green sleeves for my katana, which I'm going to sleeve these cards up with. Yeah. And if I don't feel they deserve that, then we're going to do something else with them. But as of now, that's what's happened. Some ruling. I think we're going to start from the other end of this deck. Yeah, so this is the commander. It's a legendary artifact, so it's a station. Tap another creature you control. Put charge counters equal to its power on this spacecraft station only as a sorcery. If it's an artifact creature at 8, it's an artifact creature at 8+. So there you go. Yeah. So, and I get to sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards. You may play an additional land this turn. And yeah. So I'm a bit unsure on the rulings on this one, but yeah. And again, the artificial intelligence is translating my my chat here. Can I change that? There we go. I'm just unboxing Precon, man. Magic the Gathering. That's that's what's happening. Yeah. This is the second commander, but I found out that this is a bit underwhelming from the videos I've seen. So yeah. So I guess this is not what's gonna be played, but it's a flying creature and insect druid, and you may play lands from your graveyard. So that is what it is. Insect cleric. Whenever this creature attacks you and defending player, each discards a card or sacrifice a permanent. You draw a card for each land put into a graveyard this way. Encore. Okay, and exile this card from your graveyard for each opponent. Create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery, it says here. Okay, so highly advanced this deck, it seems. Whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent, exile the top card of your library during your turn. As long as you've sacrificed a non-token permanent this turn, you may play cards exiled with this creature. Okay. This creature enters tap with 6 stun counters on it. If a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Okay. Whenever you sacrifice land, create a tapped 4/4 green beast creature token and untap this creature. Okay. Sacrifice a land, you gain 2 life. So yeah. Planetary Annihilation. Each player chooses 6 lands they control, then sacrifices the rest. Planetary Annihilation deals 6 damage to each creature. Okay, so that's pretty powerful stuff, man. Artifact Spacecraft, Exploration Broodship. Station, tap another creature you control, but charge counter equal to the power on this spacecraft. Station only as a source. It's an artifact creature at +8. Okay. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, okay? Once during each of your turns, you may cast a permanent spell from your graveyard by sacrificing a land in addition to paying its other costs. Maybe this isn't too difficult after all, maybe? Insect Scout lands you control enter untapped. Oh, that's good. Whenever you attack a player, create a lander token. It's an artifact with 2. Okay. So yeah. Whenever you sacrifice a land, create a tap token that's a copy of this creature. If 7 or more land cards are in your graveyard, otherwise create a tapped 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. I already feel that this is a bit too complicated for me. Right here. But of course, we're going to continue the unboxing and stuff. But I'm not sure if this is a deck I want to play as it is. Median Hatchery, pay 1 life, add a black mana, put a hatchling counter on this land. When this land is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, for each hatchling counter on it, create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. Yeah, so it's... Yeah, okay. Festering Thicket. Yeah, and you can cycle it if you want. And this land enters tapped. Another land, this land enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. That's good. Fabled Passage, sacrifice this land, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Then if you control 4 or more lands, untap that land. Okay. Braids Horizon Nightmare. Legendary creature. Okay, so at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent of their choice that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. Okay. So this is pretty good. It's actually a potential commander here on its own. Another legendary creature, God Eternal Bontu. I've seen this before though, in some other fashion. When God Eternal Bontu enters, sacrifice any number of other permanents, then draw that many cards. When God Eternal Bontu dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into the owner's library, a 3rd from the top. Okay. Nice. That's awesome. Blasphemous Act, seen this many times before. It's pretty good. You just deal 13 damage to everything on the field. Yeah. Creature control have haste. Okay. So, sacrifice land, but create a 3/3 colorless golem enchantment artifact creature token. Morag, Fury of Akum. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it has attacked this turn. Whenever land you control enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase. After this phase, at the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. Okay, so Nice. Ogre of Autumn. Okay, you may look. That's the doorbell. Hej! Åh ja, ja, tusen tack. Tusen tack. Det gick på bästa hållet. Jag får leva tillbaka. Okej. Ja, ja, men ska få leva tillbaka den här låten så. Ja, tusen tack för det. Ja, ja. Jag finner sådana. Det är mycket bättre än här en utbrott. Vi har ju väldigt sådana. Ja. Ja, men tusen tack ska du ha. Så bra på här. Ha det. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Where was I? Ogre of Autumn, yeah. You may play line cards from the top of your library again. So, and it says Coven. As long as you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spell from the top of your library. That's good. Okay. Trample. This creature enters with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of land cards in all graveyards. That is awesome. Changeling, create an X-X color shapeshifter creature token with Changeling and Death Touch where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Okay. There's just too much information here, man. It's information overload, I feel here. Lone Crafter Phone. When this creature enters, you may discard 1 or more land cards. When you do, return up to that many target lone permanents from your graveyard to your hand. Great. Legendary creature, Elemental Avatar. Reach trample, MtG gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. Return 2 lands you control to their owner's hands. Return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Right. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play land cards from the top of your library. That's wonderful. Destroy up to X target artifacts and/or enchantments. Create twice X 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with when this token dies, you gain 1 life. Okay. Rampaging Bull Ballots. Whenever land you control enters, create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Okay. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That's cool. Landfall, whenever land you control enters, investigate, create a clue token. It's an artifact with 2. Can sacrifice this artifact card. When you ever sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. There's lots of legendary creatures there, though, so lots of potential for making other decks. When Tatiana enters, return target land card from a graveyard to the battlefield. Whenever land you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, create a 5/3 green and elemental creature token. Wonderful. Yeah. World Breaker. The Void. This card has no color. When you cast the spell, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. Okay, so sacrifice land, return this card. Exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until the end of turn. End of your next turn. You may play an additional land this turn. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less. Okay. Board wipe there. Nice. The Gitrug monster. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Gitrug monster unless you sacrifice a land. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever 1 or more lands cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. Oh my god. Carvel Faker's King. This is a dragon, actually. Okay, yeah, cool. Whenever Carvel enters or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Carvel and draw a card. Okay. Flying whenever player sacrifice another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Okay. Unearthed, Locus of Rage. Whenever land you control enters, create a 5/5 red and green elemental creature token. Whenever another elemental you control dies on it, deals 3 damage to any target. Soul of Windgrace. Whenever Soul of Windgrace enters or attacks, you may put a land card from your graveyard into the battlefield tapped under your control. Discard land card, you gain 3 life, and there's loads of other stuff you can do there. So I just feel that this is just too much, man. It's just boards of text on each card, and well, that doesn't necessarily produce fun gameplay. Put any number of opponents for any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. World Soul Rage. World Soul Rage deals X damage to any target. Put up to X land cards from your hand and graveyard into the battlefield tapped. This land enters tapped. Okay, so here we go. These are the lands. I'm just going to read these because, well, you're probably familiar with Magic the Gathering and you've probably watched my channel several times, so you know what these lands are. Just going to show them to you real quick, and then we're going to move on here. Yeah. So lots of good lands. And that was a sorcery, producing a land. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice land. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them into the battlefield tapped and shuffle. What's this? Saga. Okay. Destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. That's good. Search your library for a force card, put it into the battlefield. Creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. Okay. Yeah, okay. Right. Arcane Signet. Cool artwork there. Soul Ring, another cool artwork variation of Soul Ring there. And yeah. And Terramorphic Expanse. Probably not a huge fan of that one. Some targeted removal there. Draw a card there. Kicker. You may pay an additional. Okay, when your creature enters, if it was kicked, search it over a land card. Okay, sacrifice, draw a card. There. Okay. That's self-explanatory, I believe. Destroy target permanent. Yeah, Beast Within. Seen that before, and it's cool. Cultivate. Search your over up to 2 basic land cards. Review those cards. Put it into the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Return target basic land card from your graveyard to your hand. Harrow. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them into the battlefield, then shuffle. Right. Search your library for a force card. Put that card into the battlefield and shuffle. Sacrifice lands. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them into the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle. When this creature enters, reveal the 4 top cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. So there's a bunch of stuff happening each time I draw a card with this deck. And okay, search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards. Put them into the battlefield and shuffle. So lots of land stuff going on. Tear Asunder. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If the spell was kicked, exile target non-land permanent is dead. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Yuri. When Yuri dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, this creature deals 1 damage to any target. Destroy target artifact creature. It can't be regenerated. Okay. Reluctant Charm. Choose one extra target. It's from Edge of Eternities, man. It's Magic the Gathering. It's World Shaper. So I'm just unboxing this. So just going through it real quick, yeah. Earth's power equal to the number of land cards in your graveyard. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. Okay, and you can sacrifice a land and you gain, well, 2 life there. So it's not too bad. There's a bug there, and when this land is sacrificed, when you use search your library for a basic mountain, forest, or plains card, put it into the battlefield tap, then shuffle and you gain 1 life. That's awesome. Dogma Savage there. Escape Tunnel. Yeah, that's cool. So there's loads of cards that I actually can use in other decks, but I'm not too sure if I'm going to play this deck as it is. Because for that, it's just way too complicated for me, but there you go. Yeah. Okay. And we also got some lands here. We got basic land wastes, okay? Swamp, 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 mountain, 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 forest, 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 forest. And you got your tokens here. And there are a couple. Pests, beasts, elementals. So there's loads of stuff that can happen in this deck, which turns into insects and elementals and insects and golems and insects and beasts and a copy of something, a clue of something, a copy of something, and a pest again. Yeah, so there we go. Opening this to see what I've gotten in here. There's more where that came from, it says. And Elegy Acolyte. Whenever on one or more creatures you could deal combat damage to player, you draw a card and lose 1 life. That's actually pretty good. At the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped this turn, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. And Scour for scrap. Choose one or both. Search a level for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. This is actually not too bad. This is pretty good. I can actually use this in another deck I have. Okay, that's it. That's my unboxing of World Shaper there. Yeah. I was so excited for this, but it's a pretty underwhelming experience. It's just too complicated, man, and I don't think I will be playing this at all as it is now. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this unboxing. Please consider becoming a member. It really helps the channel. Thank you to Big Boss and Sam Wolf for being members. I really appreciate you both. Other than that, thank you for watching and have yourself a really nice weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.